Welcome to Remembering You, a space for slowing down, seeing again, and gathering the parts of yourself that the world asked you to forget.
Each week, we wander through stories, ancient, personal, and collective, to explore how perspective changes everything. How what we look at and how we look can open doors to who we truly are.
Take a breath, feel your feet.
You've arrived.
Let's begin remembering you.
Welcome back, friends.
Hello.
So let's talk about the cycle of liberation
Yes.
and optimal development.
Freedom! I believe George Michael so brilliantly sang.
Optimize. That could be a trigger word.
Let's not corporatize this.
Oh, you know what? I think AI is going to optimize this process. Oh, wait. AI is too expensive now. It's more expensive than real live flesh and blood.
And it still can't even tell you how many E's are in the word 17. But, you know, it's going to take over our world.
So many little details there that... Well, how would you set up? So first of all, this is part 2 in a series on the 12 links of Buddhism as taught by one of our Buddhist teachers. And we set it up in the first episode. So take a moment and go back and listen if you haven't already done so. That'll give some context. But what needs to be said as we are opening up this space together?
I mean, I think the same fundamental rule of cause and effect still applies. So in the same way that, so maybe a way to think of it is the very same movements that create suffering are all clues about how to find our own liberation. Like it's just the other side of the same coin, the light versus the dark. Like however, like our whole world is fundamentally an interplay of cause and effect and light and dark. And this is the good side.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
Because the Buddhist tradition only has the negative.
Yeah, as far as I know. Yeah.
And so this is kind of building on top of that or responding to it in a way of how can I see my life as something that I am a part of creating and I'm not just powerless in the experience.
I imagine like as Buddhism has gone through its own developmental turnings, in the same, like we can't participate fully in the cycle of liberation and freedom until we have understood in depth the cycle of that we just walked through in the previous episode of dependent origination is what the teaching is from the Buddhist standpoint, that cycle of reactivity that keeps us stuck. And until we see that clearly, we can't really do this freedom liberation thing, I think. And so it kind of makes sense that Buddhism started with the bad news because until you see that clearly, you're not going to know how to do anything different.
And we probably could also point to the fact that consciousness or collective consciousness is moving forward, is changing, there isn't an argument today with, I was going to say that, maybe not, racism is bad.
Yeah. Sure.
There is still a small segment of population that thinks white supremacy is good.
Ugh.
And collective consciousness, like you don't have to teach children to be kind and loving and accepting,
Right.
regardless of your skin color. You have to teach. Our collective consciousness has moved forward in some big ways that's even outside of maybe what anthropologists would call tribalism.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And there may be some folks who would want to argue that with me, and
Sure.
they can argue as well. So
Yeah.
all of that to say, let's look at the 12 links from a perspective of waking up on a morning when it's crystal clear outside and the sun is shining and the birds are singing, and it's just a moment to take some deep breaths and lean into experience in a way that doesn't have grab or resistance, or we're saying yes to what is true.
Yep. Bravo. So point number 1 is radical openness. So I think it's helpful to notice that in every moment and in any moment, we can choose openness or curiosity, or like it is always available. Now, might not feel like it, we might not really be capable of it, but like every moment there is at some layer a choice to just open and not tell ourselves a story. So can we be curious about what's happening and not have to control it, not have to make it any different than what it is now? Just can we bring awareness? Can we bring open awareness to whatever is happening?
Which is a huge gift, because
changes everything.
all of our programming is watch out for the threat and don't get duped,
right,
and don't be vulnerable. And yet there is a place where we can honor our boundaries and felt sense of safety and security and our identity, and from that solid ground have an open-hearted experience with life.
And obviously, when we're first beginning this process, we have to choose this moment very carefully. Like if, for example, I have a long history of a toxic relationship with my mother, I'm not going to choose radical openness when I go over to her house. That would be very unwise. So
baby steps.
Yes. Don't start at the top of the hardest hill that you've climbed. Kind of find just in like wherever your safe place is, or if you're with your dog, for maybe you really love your dog and they're just a pure, beautiful soul, or you're sitting out on the back porch and you're listening to those lovely little birds chirp their hearts out. Can you just open radically to the beauty of the moment and just be, or even, you don't even need to put the filter of beauty on it. Just can you open to whatever is arising?
Walking through those steps of, I don't need to protect myself in this moment. I don't need to defend myself in this moment.
Yeah.
I don't need to fight to survive. So maybe it's in your bed as you're cocooned up in your blankets with your pillow.
Yep.
And that morning that you don't have to go anywhere or do anything during the day, and you're just able to be in a space of it's okay.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to sit or lay or walk in it's okay. And there's nothing for me to protect in this moment.
Yep. Well said. So with that openness, we can then begin to experience emotions that are more connective, more loving, more it's that open-hearted, we want to be around other people. We feel safe. They're pro-social as opposed to anti-social. So we no longer, because we're no longer feeling like we have to protect or defend or are the, like, when the body is not defensive, it, like, we fundamentally are wired for connection, for being with one another, for touch, for safety, for love, for support. So, like, when I'm in a coaching session, if I have if a whenever a client softens or relaxes or like lets out a sigh, the not the exasperated sigh, but the sigh of relief, I will point to that and like name to them, can we let that soak in for a minute? Like, just notice the relief that you feel. And something as simple as that, it is a way to kind of attune ourselves to the very natural way the body will always find, it's always looking for safety and rest and happiness, really, contentment.
One of the ways that I witness radical openness in my daily life is with hospice patients. I have had patients describe, and I've witnessed individuals experience where they start to see their body as a problem to be fixed.
Yep.
Their body is failing and they're experiencing pain sometimes. And so how do we provide comfort, which is the goal of hospice care, providing comfort?
Yep.
And one of the ways that I will invite openness into an interaction with a patient as an interfaith hospice chaplain is to offer to hold their hand. And sometimes touch is scary when the body is hurting.
Sure.
And so I have witnessed and experienced folks who they're anxious about touch for no other reason other than touch equals pain for them. And so to be able to hold someone's hand in a way that gives them a sense of they are open to human contact and connection is a valuable gift. That's one of the things that we will educate our families on is, continue to give massages, use lotion, affirm your presence and your love with touch as long as it's not painful.
Yeah.
And that is a way to be radically open, both for me to be radically open because I have to be vulnerable in that moment for somebody to say no.
Absolutely.
To my invitation for connection, having a psychosocial, somatic feeling of someone being present with them. And I also have to be willing to feel their pain because radical openness is something that we can mirror for one another. And when one party in connection is giving the invitation of openness and someone begins to lean into that, they're responding with the gift of this is what it feels like to be me in this moment. And it can be the experience of pain and suffering and fear and existential dread and also hope and love and the embrace of life. And so there's a lot of little ways that offering to shake someone's hand or give someone a hug is testing our personal radical openness.
Very well said. Yeah. Yeah. So we're open. That then leads to more pro-social emotions, which then leads to, so our third link in this chain, or our third hour on the clock, is a more translucent consciousness. So in the previous episode, this link was basically default mode network, and the attentional system of our brain is on guard, is like hijacked and on alert. And in a sense, because we're open and because we're experiencing more pro-social emotions, that the night watchman can kind of retire. You can take a break, and our consciousness becomes more stable, more bright, more clear. So it's translucent because it's no longer solidified and fixated on the threat. Awareness just has become a more clear window through which reality can be perceived without so much distortion. So it doesn't mean that everything is like beautiful and amazing and blissful. It's just we're seeing clearly. And that might include pain and discomfort or something ugly, so to say. But its consciousness is becoming more translucent.
I think of Neo in The Matrix. And that moment where everything became more translucent.
Yeah.
It was not exactly a moment that he anticipated or understood until he probably didn't understand it until the end of the movie, actually.
Yeah.
And it's a great picture for this stage of translucent consciousness and how we respond and realize, and the choice that we are offered to continue to have this new state of seeing and then being as well.
Yeah.
Don't take the red pill. Don't do
it. So from this point of a more translucent consciousness, our self-construct, the persona that we inhabit, becomes much more illusory. Like, it becomes flexible. It becomes like a costume that we can put on and take off. So previously we were talking about your beautiful beard and, that your non-attachment to your beard and just your overall appearance and, kind of the way that you present to the world. It is something that you are playful with it. Like, you're not attached to it. It is how there is a way that we all present. It's not to say that, like, we need to become some, I don't know, beige non-version of, like, we have to inhabit some kind of persona. But the question is do we understand that it's just a costume? And can we, which then allows us to be able to shift into other ways of being and thinking and feeling when we need to.
Yeah, I like the idea of not being rigid or fragile. Seeing our ego as pliable is not something that we're taught.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Everything reinforces pick a lane and stay in
it. Yeah. I remember when I first got my Enneagram report back, it came with so as a coach behind the scenes, I get those fancy little graphs that give way more detail than the client can see. And one of them was like a breakdown of how much of each type I scored as, because of course we're not just one personality type. And the one that I am consistently the lowest, so to say, like the one that is least me, is the perfectionist, because I, of course, want to be the rebellious optimist who never is boxed in and never has any rules or structure. I'm so anti-structure. Fucking anarchist when it comes to my personality. And I remember thinking, that would be, what if I walked through the day as if I were a perfectionist? Like I kind of decided to just step into that persona as a way just to play with it, like just to see what it was like. And of course I'd forget constantly.
Your thought experiment. I love that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just a way, you can, I don't know. I mean, you don't necessarily have to pick the persona that is the most opposite to you, like, but you could. It's just as an experiment. Like, what if you, for the next hour just pretended to be somebody totally different? What would that be like?
I carry a clown wig in my car sometimes.
Yes, you do.
And people don't see that coming.
No, because you are so buttoned up and polished.
And I had a moment, this is a few years ago, where there was a patient and he loved clowns. And it was his birthday. And in our conversation with our team, I said, hey, I'll bring a clown wig. It's rainbow colored and I've got a clown nose and I will juggle for this patient. Another nurse was going to bring a cake. Our team showed up and he was absolutely delighted. The team was a little bit horrified to see me in a clown wig because it didn't fit the mold that they had fit me into.
Of course.
And it was quite enjoyable to be able to be a disruptor in that moment and their way of seeing.
I love that.
He was delighted. That was the bottom line.
Yep. It's important. So the playfulness of our persona, the lightness with which we can hold our sense of self allows for a kind of perception that lets in more beauty and more empathy. So in the bad news version, like this is the point where our perception is constructed. Like we are projecting fear or like whatever story we've told, we start projecting it onto the world and onto other people. But now, because we have no inner self concept that is threatened, the psychological movie projector, so to say, stops kind of casting a horror film onto our surroundings, and instead we see the fundamental beauty, so the aesthetics and the deep emotional interconnectivity of the whole world around us. So we see the world more as it is, which is interconnected. It is vibrantly alive. We could say sacred, depending on our worldview.
Which is an incredible gift because our mind is always going towards worst case scenario.
Yep. Not negativity bias.
Yes.
Yep.
And so having the gift of being able to envision something good.
Mm-hmm.
I'll laugh and make fun of a vision board. And it is a very important spiritual practice.
Yep.
To speak life into your soul through the pictures that you carry with yourself, whether it is with a physical vision board or it's a reminder of who you are and your identity and what you're in the process of becoming, to have that gift of seeing with potential versus seeing with danger.
Yep.
And that takes a lot of work.
Oh, so much practice. Because we have a whole lifetime of, and we're kind of hardwired to, like you said, to view the negative. I always liked our meditation teacher would reinforce over and over and over again the way that we are enchanted with disenchantment.
I love that line.
And so, he, like, I remember, he would say this all throughout the training, but he said it from the very first day, notice the way that you are. So it was an online, it's a Zoom room and there's 100 people in it, plus him and his wife that are leading. And he would say, notice the way that you are looking at the screen. We tend to gaze at our devices with this kind of dead, we look at the screen as if it's a dead object because from one perspective it is. And so that way of looking is coloring the way we are experiencing this Zoom room. And so what if we instead gaze with a more aesthetic perception, a perception that sees beauty and recognize, can we connect with just one person on the other side of the screen and recognize that they're a living human being just like we are? And so can there be that intimacy and that empathy? And if we engage with that screen in that kind of way, that drastically changes the nature of the experience. And
having the practice of seeing people as a young child.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They're just a little girl, or they're just a little boy on the inside.
Yeah.
There are very few true monsters in the world.
No.
I have not met somebody who is beyond the gift of being able to see them as a hurt little child.
Yeah. Yeah. So then this more empathetic perception then leads to fresh, direct experience instead of traumatic experience. So this is the point on the wheel where in the bad news version, we're experiencing trauma because we're just living in that self-perpetuating story, which is like a nightmare. But because we're looking with fresh eyes, reality is landing in our nervous system much more cleanly. We're not filtering the present moment through all of our defensive projections. We're experiencing it kind of with the way we did when we were little kids, and we're just big, bright, fresh eyes, and everything is shiny and new because we don't yet understand what anything is. And so it's just everything is a marvel. And it's like that return to that way of experiencing the world.
I think of teaching my kids to ride a bicycle. And there is an intensity and a force when a child is trying to ride their bicycle.
Oh, yeah. Determined.
Versus allowing the bicycle to become a part of them and just move with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Take some time.
There's a shaky, there's a control,
Yeah.
there's a fear, there's an intensity, there's it's
they're scared.
They don't want to fall.
Yeah.
And fast forward after some practice.
Yeah.
And they just are gliding
that's
along.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah.
It doesn't mean that in your gliding, you won't hit the curb from time to time and have a spill. And once you've experienced the that's there of being in the flow, of having a generative, healthy, whole unfolding and seeing even the speed bumps as an opportunity for growth and personal development. It's easier to click back into that and not be in that fight, flight, freeze kind of shaking as you're on your bicycle trying to balance and move forward.
Yeah. Because fundamentally that there's a good ground. Yep. Yeah. So with this fresh, direct experience where we are just letting the present moment arrive however it is, and we're flowing with it on our bicycle, comes an equipoised sensitivity. So equipoise is equal balance. We're not leaning too far to the right, we're not leaning too far to the left. So this does not mean that everything feels good. So the intensity of life is still going to arrive. We will still feel all of the pain, all of the fear, all of the anger, and all of the beauty and joy and bliss and loveliness. But it our nervous system can now take it, in a sense. Like, it doesn't rock us and knock us completely off our center. And so when we have a nervous system that has been well trained to hold the intensity, the discomfort or the sadness arises, our body is open, it is spacious enough to be able to hold and stay present to the sensation without contraction, without panic, without hardening around it and needing to force and control it. And so that's what the equipoised sensitivity is about.
It's remaining open to experience and feeling it, sitting with it, allowing it to be.
Yep. So in the bad news version of the cycle, this was the, I don't like this doesn't feel good. Like, I am contracted around the negativity, which of course then is going to cause us to want to try to control it and get away from it. But so now it's like we can be just open, embraced to it. The bad is uncomfortable, is always uncomfortable. But it's, the question is, what's our bandwidth and our depth and our capacity to just, like, how big is our cup when the ocean waves arise? Can our container hold it?
Coming back to the bicycle analogy, I have a kid that when they would fall, they would brush themselves off and then pick the bike up and then throw it down in anger. Like, they physically had to do something mean to the bike because the bike had been mean to them.
That's awesome.
It was adorable and also frustrating as a parent because I was trying to teach them the bike is not the enemy.
Sure.
Neither is gravity. Neither is the ground that hurt you. And we can get in that trap of being angry about the pain, and then that causes suffering to go forward. And it's like, no, that is not what there is to do.
So next in the chain is translucent generosity. So we have our equipoised sensitivity. We can just be open and fully present to whatever is arising. We're not fixated on, this is a terrible thing and I hate this and I got to figure out how to get away. So that panicked desire to make the bad thing go away, if that's not there, we no longer have a desperate craving to escape our skin or escape the situation. And so our mind can just rest in a state of fullness, abundance, and which all of that will just naturally flow over into a more radiant, open-handed generosity toward existence itself. So it's just this, like the feeling that comes to mind is like just this upswelling, beautiful, warm, overflowing cup of generosity. It's just the natural consequence of not fighting or controlling or needing to run away or
It can be challenging when a part of us is what's causing the pain. I think of when I was 7, 8 years old and fell off a jungle gym and fractured my arm, and every bump that our station wagon hit on the way to the hospital, I felt it, and I did not want to have an arm right then.
Sure.
I wanted to get rid of my arm. Like, it was excruciating.
Oof.
And that's a weird place to be reflected on after the fact. Like, we can be in so much pain that we just want to get out of it.
Absolutely.
And so finding that place of translucent generosity is an incredible gift because we all walk with pain in different parts and places of our experience.
Yeah. It reminds me, there was this book, was it Susan Campbell? Who wrote it? it was a very tantric sort of new agey take on turning our discomfort, almost like fetishizing it, or recognizing that there is a part of us that wants this. Like
pain and pleasure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so can we use that just very natural desire that from almost like a sexual perspective, like that, because of course that impulse is very strong in every human.
Mm-hmm.
And can we play with our pain almost and find the way, can we connect with the way in which we actually want this at some level? And that is, of course, she did a masterful job of slowly, because at first that sounds absurd.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And not at all. I imagine obviously this would not be appropriate for a 7-year-old sitting in the backseat of a car with a broken arm. But like there's an adult version of that can be connected with. And so like this translucent generosity, not to say that this is what the Buddhists were trying to teach. I mean, they do have a version of this. But like there's all kinds of ways in which people have
Mm-hmm.
tried to point to this.
Mm-hmm.
And that I was reminded of. I'll have to, I think it's called Existential Kink. I think that's the name of the book.
That's awesome.
It was delightful. So our next link, number 9, is, so rather than compulsive attachment, we have nurturing care and love. So our grasping, our numbing, our addictive clinging is transformed into secure attachment, mature groundedness. So instead of using people or substances or distractions to just soothe our anxieties, the relational energy we have becomes an expression of genuine, non-transactional, nurturing care and love. So we can turn toward ourselves and turn toward others with just an unconditional, open, emotional heart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's important to name that always starts on the inside and then goes out.
Yes. Yeah. Makes me think of like a metta practice where we just send, may I be well, may I be at peace.
Mm-hmm. There was a practice that I did at a retreat many years ago where we were guided in the process of crawling up into the lap of our ideal loving parents and feeling safe and comforted.
Yeah.
And that is where it starts for us. Before we can give to the world, we have to first have it within ourselves, engaged and alive. And that's a practice that can help facilitate and nurture care and love.
There were those Buddhist monks that did that walk for peace back 6 months or so ago. And I remember that, I'm sure they had more than one moment, but there was one that got recorded and put all over social media anyway, where this very concerned fundamentalist Christian was, just really all up in the face of, I forget the main monk's name. I mean, he was, concerned for his eternal soul and just basically telling the monk that he was all wrong. And the warmth and patience and kindness that monk demonstrated was so, it was essentially just this nurturing care and love. Like he had nothing but patience and compassion for this other human that was sitting across from him. And that's always, it's such a rare thing to witness anymore. I mean, our social media feeds tend to be filled with agitation and condemnation and pointing fingers, and it's not much of openness. So number 10, the 10th point is altruistic engagement. So rather than a fixed egoic existence that is basically just stuck in lots and lots of different loops of patterned reactivity. Our lifestyle, so rather than needing to always self-protect, we can serve. So energy that was previously spent managing our anxieties, managing our defenses, hiding from the any feelings of vulnerability, all of that is liberated. And so we can structurally design our daily life, our career, our identity around altruistic engagement. So actively working toward alleviating the suffering of the collective. And that doesn't mean that, I don't know, we take on some huge project where we aim for world peace. I mean, you can still be a garbage collector or whatever your role. So I think it doesn't mean our job or our place in life becomes something super powerful and upfront. It can be very subtle. It's the way in which we move through the world, not actually what it is that we're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it reminds me of the book Practice the Presence of God. And it's the story of Brother Lawrence, who was a dishwasher. And it was said that the presence of God was stronger in the kitchen than it was in the sanctuary there with the monks. And folks just felt this very simple awareness of being in God's presence when they hung out with Brother Lawrence, because that's the way he had chosen to be, was just every moment enjoy the presence of the divine wherever he was, whatever he was doing. And it was infectious.
Yeah.
It drew people in. And so it wasn't like he had 1 million followers on Pick Your Poison platform. It was the reality of one life living from this place.
Yeah. That is a hard thing for the ego to understand. Point number 11 is creative manifestation instead of traumatic repetition. So with all of those automated, mechanical, reactive loops no longer present, we can enter into a state of true freedom. So every action we take can become a spontaneous, inspired response to the present moment. We become a conduit. So this manifesting creative new agey people, this is what manifesting is actually about. We can bring unconditioned solutions and beauty into the world. Manifesting is not about getting the fancy new car or $10,000 in your bank account. That's all just ego. This is what manifestation is about. Yeah.
I like the idea of entering a state of true evolutionary freedom, because with that gives the space to create what is good. And for me, part of that is being able to laugh at what's funny, to be able to cry at what is sad. It's being present and accepting a whole self participation in the experience of life, whatever that looks like, and whatever path that takes me down. Doesn't necessarily mean that I get to control the path or what path I go down, but it does mean that there is a power that is experienced in feeling what needs to be felt versus running from it.
Yeah.
Or trying to hide it.
Yep. Yeah. And since you're no longer suffering the consequences of the running or the hiding, then there's the paths that can then open as a result are kind of endless and infinite. Yeah.
The embrace of possibility of bliss.
Yes, please. And all of this culminates with what we could think of as intergenerational healing and and generativity. So rather than, the somatic burnout from this traumatic loop that we are stuck in, that of course then we just pass on to our kids and our neighbors and everyone we come in contact with. We are not only on a personal level, we're preserving our vitality, but more importantly, because we have digested our psychological material, we're not passing it on to the next person that we come in contact with. And we can leave behind a lineage of awakening and true generativity and healing. And I think that's what world peace is actually about.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess we didn't really say this explicitly at the start. I don't think we did anyway. But in the same way that the last cycle was fractal in nature, like both really small, happens in a moment, and really big over a lifetime or over generations, like the same is true for this one. So every time we choose to step into being more aware and present to our reactivity and to our sight, like we experience some version of this generative loop. It gains maybe more momentum or becomes more apparent, or the possibility for it to arise becomes more possible, like however you want to frame it. This too, it starts very small and becomes larger and more powerful.
So from this framework, the invitation, whether you're just a little bit curious or you have been a long time practitioner of Buddhist Zen practices, from this framework, maybe something stood out to you today. And as you go throughout your day, just notice what happens and where you notice, experience, and your awareness kind of peeking to the surface. This path of Buddhism, or this 12 links, can become a part of healing and freedom and regeneration of your whole perspective in this life. And that is a gift.
Yeah. I mean, it's available to anyone. And you named cultivation at the beginning, and that I think is obviously this doesn't happen overnight. And it takes a lot of bravery to just be willing to return over and over and over again.
I think one of the pieces that I took away from learning this a few years back was how it emphasizes embodiment rather than just intellectual insight alone and kind of mental gymnastics.
Yeah, no.
And that was super helpful for me in my experience.
I've been listening to lots of Rupert Spira lately, and I love his sometimes when he gives pointers, he's so wise. He'll say, notice the way da 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 da, or do this, and then what happens, and he'll say, now be brave, and like really sit with, and there are several meditations where he's just like, now be brave. Just like I need that reassurance. And he's right. All we're doing is sitting here and just investigating the nature of our own mind. And it does require a lot of bravery and a lot of courage. It's hard.
It is hard. And he does it so masterfully because what he's doing is he's calling forth the bravery that's already inside of you that you don't know that you have. And that is what a masterful teacher does.
That's wonderful. So be brave.
Let's move through some links, my love.
Yes, please. Yeah. Well, thank you for sitting with us, being brave enough to endure the entirety of this episode. It's not easy stuff.
May you enjoy the fullness of who you are, what's inside of you, and what is becoming as you hold on to what needs to be held and let go of what is ready to fly.
Thank you. We will see you next time.
Bye-bye for now.
Goodbye.